Welcome back. Okay, previously you watched the video about the different types of applications. We want to take a few minutes and look at the textbook now. Let me encourage you, go ahead and open up your word bank because there's several words that we're going to need to put into the word bank for your next word bank exam, which easily could be this week. There's so many that we could throw in there. Understand, anytime we do a word bank exam, it'll be comprehensive. That means I can take words from chapter one, lesson one, or I can be taking words from chapter two, lesson two, or anywhere in between. So you need to keep that up to date and work on it. It's not hard. Copy and paste and you've got it, but I need you to pay attention to this. Okay, we're talking about the different types of applications. And one thing they first brought up was word processing software. And they mentioned several right here: Microsoft Word, Open Office Writer, and Google Docs. I think those are the most common ones right now and work really well. The open source is really not that bad. It is a little more clunky. You have to really play with it to learn all the rules and things it'll do. There used to be another one many years ago called WordPerfect. And I challenge you, Google it, look up WordPerfect and see what you can find about it. I must admit, it's been so many years since I've heard of it. It may have gone bankrupt or just shut down. Spreadsheet. This is a great way to track information. Keep track of your numbers, your grades, maybe even your workouts, especially when you're lifting weights, to be able to sit there and write down that and see the progression, the changes you've made. That's a good thing for spreadsheet. Teachers use spreadsheets a lot for keeping track of assignments, but also looking at grades. Database. Now, this is a little different. It's similar to spreadsheet, but it is taking large chunks of data and processing it. People that are good at database, that know what they're doing with that, can make lots of money. I know of people with a 2-year degree that are making $60,000, $80,000 because they got a degree in database software. You go ahead and get a 4-year degree in database software, it's unlimited what you could make if you wanted to do that. But you've got to be able to keep track of a lot of information. And so make sure you read through this, pay attention. There's going to be some really good questions in the quiz that you have today on this. Presentation software, PowerPoint, Google Slides. There's many different other ones out there, but those are the two most common right now. Even Apple, they've got their own presentation software out there. Multimedia, many of you already do this. You watch videos on your computer. Some of you, you're taking videos and you're manipulating it, editing it, and that's what this is talking about here. And then productivity. And there's many different ways or things that could be labeled productivity software. You have to understand, though, that it could be very specific. The software may be written for the medical field. It may be for doctors. It may be nurses. It may be for a specific branch in medicine, such as pediatrics. There's so many things that you have to understand that the productivity is designed for, because even teachers, we have productivity software that's designed for us, and that's called Skyward. We use a lot with Skyward. Skyward is very similar and very much a database. We put data in there. We're able to look at it from many different viewpoints, like just here at Bonham, maybe only 8th grade. Or we may be looking at 8th grade at Lamar, Travis, and Bonham. Or we may be looking at all of the grade levels at the high school. That's what database does, and same with productivity software. And then web browsers. Now, many people confuse web browsers. They're like, well, I don't know what a web browser is. Yeah, you do. Your Google Chrome, your Google website, that is a web browser. Used to be Internet Explorer. Now it's Edge. That's a major issue. I think in the previous lesson, I talked about Bing. Bing is actually a search engine, not a web browser. Edge is the web browser. Safari is another web browser. Browser is a generic term, just like car is a generic term. But if I want to talk about a specific car, I might refer to the Ford Mustang. Now I'm talking about a certain car with different characteristics compared to a Chevrolet Camaro. Well, a web browser is the car, whereas your Firefox would be equivalent to a Ford Mustang. Your Safari might be equivalent to a Chevrolet Camaro. So just understand the difference there between web browser and then specific web browsers that we're looking at. App Store categories. This you already do. When you're going out there to iTunes, when you're going to different websites or trying to pull up something on Google Web Store, Chrome Web Store, hey, I want to play games. So you're going to scroll down here until you can find games. Or I want something dealing with comics. This is where you can find your categories that the information is better geared towards what you're looking for, just to help you find your data faster. Now, licensing. They talked about this yesterday or on the video a lot about your freeware, your shareware, and then what you have to pay for. Freeware is that. It's free for you to use. You're just not going to get support for it. If something goes wrong, you're on your own. And you don't know that they're going to update it. You don't know that they're going to keep it clean and remove the viruses if a virus is to get in there. Understand, they're not making money off of it. But often you don't want to pay money for something. So you're willing to take that chance. Be cautious with that. Shareware means, hey, I'll let you use it for 7 days or 14 or 30 days. It depends upon the application. I like to use the shareware when I've got a computer that's infected and I don't want to run out and buy an antivirus. I'll find an antivirus that's got a limited trial version, run it on the computer, clean up that computer, and then delete it. And now I may be able to run that computer for a few weeks or a month before I get it infected again. It's a hassle sometimes. Often, if you can find a antivirus that's inexpensive but does the job well, it's worth paying for. But it's up to you. How much is your time worth? Proprietary. That means someone owns this application and they have the right to decide what is done with it. How much are you allowed to do with it? Can you go in there and make changes to the software, or can you just only use the software? And that's where you have to really make sure you understand and read the license agreement. And especially if you're like, hey, I made some great changes to this software. I want to sell it. Well, but you don't own that software. So you have to talk to the owner and make sure that they agree to let you sell those modifications, or they may want to buy that out from you, or they may just tell you, hey, you can't do that, even though you spent all that time. So look into it ahead of time before you try to make changes. Talked a little bit about here on the freeware and the shareware. Read over that. You're going to have a lot of questions on all three of these: proprietary, freeware, and shareware. Open source is just that. That means it's open for you to go in there and make changes without any hesitation, without any problems. You can make changes. And often you can turn right around and sell it if somebody's willing to pay for it. There's a lot of people that have modified Linux. Linux is an operating system that was set out there for free for people to use. They could go in and make changes, and many people have gone in and updated and modified and added neat things to Linux to make it a better operating system. Same point though, you can go out and pay money for Linux. That someone has gone in, made so many changes, but they felt like they want to get paid for it, and so they released that. The Google Chrome operating system that you're using on your Chromebook is made from Linux. So this is a good example for you to see what open source is. Public domain. Now, that's a good term right there that should be in your word bank. Open source, shareware, freeware, proprietary, end user license agreement, categories of applications, web browsers, multimedia, presentation software, database, spreadsheet, word processing. Okay, that's a lot of vocabulary. I'm not expecting you to just go out there and research each and every one, but I do expect you to use the definitions that they list here because that's what you will see on the test. I know there's quite a few there. If you cannot get them all done today, you can do them the next day. Just the longer you wait, the less likely you are to do it. And the longer you wait, the more likely I'll have a test for you to complete, and you will see these terms on there. All right, I hope you're doing well. Stay healthy, respect other people, wear your mask above your nose. It's for your sake and the sake of your family that you do that. If you have questions, please let me know. If you have not been able to log into the CompuScholar, let me know, people. I still have people that are not in there. We're now chapter 2, and if you've not been doing this work, your grade will plummet. All right. I wish you good luck. Keep me posted, and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Be safe.